Hello there. Welcome to Prop Live with some guests. We have guests in the shop today.
Hi, we're Evan and Katelyn.
You are Evan and Katelyn, according to your shirts. Trendy shirt-looking shirts. We have our pals from Texas hanging out this week while we do a bunch of stuff. If you guys haven't had a chance to already check out their stuff, you can go to Evan and Katelyn's YouTube channel right there and see some of the really cool stuff they've been working on. What's one of your favorite recent projects?
Favorite recent projects?
Yeah.
Probably the water gun we just recently did.
Yeah.
What about this sweet knife though?
That sweet knife.
Yeah.
The sweet knife is so sweet.
So you made a 3D printed knife handle, but then you got to go and forge a blade for it with Alec Steele, which I'm a little jealous. Yeah.
It was such a wonderful experience. We learned so much while hanging out with him, and we just had such a fun time. Everything you see in his YouTube channel, that's him.
That's him.
That's him 100%.
Yeah. I had a pretty good feeling that was the case.
Yeah, you can't fake that level of energy.
No. So yeah, they're hanging out in the shop this week. We're filming all kinds of stuff. You mentioned the squirt gun.
Yeah. So we had so much fun making the first squirt gun, and we had so many ideas while making it. We decided we should make version 2, and I literally just could not sleep while designing this.
Yeah. So version 2 that is actually coming out tomorrow. And I don't know if you plan on talking about this yet, but that's one of the reasons we're here.
Yes. Hold on, I have to watch this part of the video where I get shot in the face.
We had to film a little skit.
Yeah, you gotta.
And then with a little dramatic pause right there.
NerdyView says the propane cannon was hot.
I'm so glad you watched that. That's probably one of our favorite projects, and no one has seen it. Not that many people have seen it.
I love it so much. We just need to do more weapons.
We might have to revisit that one also.
No, and 26,000 people saw it.
26,000 people saw it? That is a lot of people.
That's a good amount.
But we wanted to make our version 2 Super Soaker look amazing, and it does, guys.
Yeah.
We're not going to show it now.
Not yet, but a video will go up tomorrow. So you want to go?
No, but the next version that you guys have helped us with.
Yes. Well, I'm saying the version 2 video is going up tomorrow.
Yes.
So you guys want to go to Evan and Katelyn's YouTube channel and subscribe now, so you see that tomorrow.
Yes.
And then we're working on that one to upgrade the cosmetics of it to make it look. It already looked pretty cool. It's gonna look really cool when we're done with it.
Next level.
I mean, it's almost
Next
done.
level.
And I know it already looks really cool.
It's really
You'll see it tomorrow.
We have learned so many things while we're here. It's like a crash course in like prop making and weathering and everything. It's amazing.
It's been a lot of fun. We also have some other stuff we're going to be working on, including some Nerf stuff. We're trying to see if we can put a new spin on an old favorite, the Nerf dart. Not Nerf bullets, Nerf darts.
Yes, Nerf darts.
And that's been an adventure.
We're going to have to stitch something together for that.
It's some legit engineering with a lot of factors we didn't account for.
Yes.
Yeah.
So.
But the struggle is one of the things that makes it interesting. So this video is going to have a lot of struggle.
Yeah.
Good content? I think so.
We're going to do some metal casting.
Yeah.
Some pewter metal casting, which will be really fun.
Yeah.
And we figured for the squirt gun testing, we should have some targets to shoot at. Costumes might be involved.
Yep.
And I kind of want to make a shield, like a Riot shield. So,
with the clear window and everything?
Yeah, so you can kind of see, you can film through it, you can see through it, and we can shoot water at it and,
nice.
and Nerf darts.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we may, if we have time, we're going to build a shield and some other stuff, including some stuff that might involve Joel, the 3D printing nerd, who's in the chat right now. Hey, Joel.
How many days do we have left here?
We have a calendar. Oh, you can't quite see the calendar right there. It's not filled out really well, but
we wrote all of the days out, and we wrote 3 things, and then we stopped.
So yeah, that's what's going on. Lots of really fun content for both our YouTube channels, which has been fun. But also, Joel's bringing chips too. So
Thanks.
buddy.
Thanks.
Yes.
Yeah. So today, our topic for the podcast is we're going to talk about YouTube and being a maker or creative person on YouTube and trying to run a business using YouTube in some way.
Which is a very new thing.
Yeah.
Or is it?
Well,
I don't know.
Kind of.
I mean, in the grand scheme of people running businesses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not like anyone has done it for their entire life and has like a full career cycle in it.
Even people we know who are a decade or two older than us, who do most of their career work on YouTube are still very new to it.
Yeah.
So like Jimmy is he's 50 and he's had a whole other career doing other things, and in the last 5 years it's just blown up on YouTube.
But even people who started at the very beginning, what was that? 12 years ago?
Yeah, 2006 I think was when YouTube started.
Yeah, not that long.
Not that long, no. So anyway, we're going to go through our journey, kind of contrast what we have between our two operations. For you guys watching live, if you have any questions while we're chatting, please drop them in the chat. Just tag @PunishedProps so that it shows up for me and it's easy to suss out between all the other shenanigans going on in there. I see all you prop tarts. So yeah, feel free to drop us questions as we chat, and we'll do our best to get back to those. And then we're just gonna dive in to the fun conversation. We're gonna start by kind of outlining what mine and Brittany's, and now our team, who's hiding. Paige is hiding back over there.
She waved.
And Everett, who's remote. What us and our team, our experience has been so far, and contrast that with what your guys' experience has been so far. So I started making videos on my YouTube channel in like 2011, 2012 as like a secondary thing to kind of just show off stuff that I was working on. Like, it wasn't even instructional. In fact, there's a video, like one of my first videos, I literally look at the camera and go, I'm not making tutorials.
That should be like at the outro every one of your videos now.
I'll see if I can find it. But you guys, what was the first like video you put up that was like, we're doing this as like a thing?
We launched with 3.
We launched with 3 or 4 videos with the intention of it being a thing.
Yeah.
So we went into it knowing like we want to see if we can turn this into a business. So we had like,
1 year ago.
Yeah, a year ago.
So if we take a look too, that would be you got your channel trailer. Is that your first channel trailer?
It was
Yeah.
the first channel
But
trailer.
have
And
you
it was
made
up there
another one?
way too long.
We made another one
Okay.
just recently because it was really outdated, the first one. But
Yeah.
But it's very clearly like DIY maker stuff. IKEA
Yeah, and
hack.
instructional based. So we launched with that whole first row.
we launched with the
IKEA
whole
hack,
Wow.
garage,
Your
cutting
drywall
board,
videos doing
drywall.
great.
I know.
Yeah.
And concrete letters.
Mm-hmm.
So that was our first batch, and we wanted to show that we were doing this seriously, that we were committed to this.
Yep.
And we wanted to show a variety of different like maker type projects. So we had like concrete, we had some home improvement, we had some woodworking, because we wanted people to go to our channel and see that there was a few different types of things we did. Hopefully make people want to see what else we were gonna put out there. So so we went into it like with a
purpose. Yeah. And
And
see,
we-
I didn't. I was like, I'm making stuff anyway. I might as well film some of it and put it on YouTube because people seem to think that's cool.
Did you get any inspiration from any other YouTubers at the time?
Yeah, back then it would have been Film Riot and Scam School and a couple of other more like, at the time it was more like video podcasts.
Yeah.
So that was, but none of those were for like the making of things. The whole YouTuber maker thing hadn't really taken off at that point.
Yeah.
I was more just like, hey, that guy does magic tricks. That's kind of cool. And I more sort of gleaned his style than the particular
approach.
content.
Yeah.
I have a quick question too. That goes with a question from Tasmanian Nerd. He's built some stuff that's a commission. So he built this thing and now he's got to give it to the person who paid for it, and he's curious if it's normal to feel reluctant to do so.
Oh yes.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Even like we made a project that we gave to our moms, and even then we were like, if we have to give it to anyone, I'm glad it's the moms, but like it's still hard to part with
If it wasn't our moms, then we wouldn't we wouldn't have.
given it away.
And both of us are artists too. We like painting. We like doing art.
It's a very similar feeling.
It's a very similar feeling, and we have a very hard time giving away art. The only art I've ever given away is to family.
Yeah.
Because we know that.
Now you guys have sold some stuff too, right?
We have sold some stuff.
But
yeah.
I feel like that's different because it's stuff that we make a bunch of. And
specifically to sell.
Specifically to sell, and a lot of times, most of that stuff is based around either 3D printing or CNC work, and so we know we can make another. So it's a little easier.
Yeah.
For me, it's kind of weird. I do have a lot of props. They're one-offs. I only made one of them. I didn't mold or cast it, and I sold it. And for some reason, once it's done and I get my video, I can't get it out fast enough. Because I'm like, make room for the next thing.
Yeah.
There's only a couple of things that I've sold where I'm like, I kind of wish I still had that.
Now, I wonder if, the very first metalworking project, would you want to keep that? And then the very first woodworking project? I wonder if it's...
As like milestone
similar.
Projects.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I bet, once we get to the point where we put out 1 million videos like Bill has, then maybe we'll be a little bit less sentimental about our stuff.
I just grabbed our channel here if you want to take a trip down memory lane.
Oh, wow.
So, the first video is just a turnaround of this prop I made. I think
6 seconds.
Someone, and it's, please don't judge my prop. It's 2012. But this was just to show that the light changes color. That's it.
That was the very first YouTube video?
Yeah, and then this was just show 30-second clip of me showing a finished. Oh, music, by the way, by Everett.
What?
Everett did the music, so we're gonna listen to it real quick. Yeah. And it was just to show off this finished prop. It's kind of cool. I was just getting really fancy with the camera stuff. Now, at the time, I was selling these.
Oh.
So this was a way for me to show off my work. And also, by the way, the paint job, I way overdid it. So please don't judge.
Lots learned in the past 6 years.
Oh, yeah. And then, but if you go back to our channel, though, there's, hardly any of them even have thumbnails. That I did another Mass Effect gun clip. And then I did an actual, episode of a thing. And then I did a video of me riding my bike.
Oh, the shaky. Oh my gosh, the shaky is so shaky. How is it shaking that much? Oh my
It's
gosh.
just a nightmare. But it's slowly, so my channel got refined over time.
Yeah.
Obviously. But at the time, it wasn't really integral to my business. I was trying to sell resin castings and get prop commissions and stuff, which I rarely do anymore now.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's all about the content. And for us, over the last 6 years, it just kind of evolved into that. Mm-hmm. A lot of times I think people ask, what was your plan? I was like, I don't have one. It just turned into that. When's the first time I actually used a thumbnail? It took a while. Hey, look at that. I think I might be the one.
Oh, they can't see it.
Yeah. Look. I think the first one with a thumbnail is this guy right here. Talking about, that's the ankle cuff I made for Film Riot. So I was officially on YouTube for 2 years before I used my first thumbnail.
Different times.
So 2 very different approaches. Mm-hmm. I feel like you guys had a really specific goal in mind when you started the channel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We wanted to spend more time together.
Oh, yeah.
And we wanted to start a career path that we could potentially stay in for the rest of our lives. So we wanted to build up this resource for ourselves that was a little bit flexible, that could grow with us, and that we could keep on evolving, because it is, just like you said, you started this 6 years ago and it's evolved with you. It's changed a lot.
Yeah.
And you can do that with the career path that we're on.
Yeah.
You know?
And that's what it's become for us now. It's this thing that keeps growing. What our business looks like and our channel looks like compared to a year ago is vastly different.
Yeah.
But now I will say we have a very specific goal in mind, a very specific purpose in mind. For us, YouTube is our platform to share what we know with the world, but it's also a place where we can market the products that we have, our books and everything. Where did my notes go? There we go. We talked about our journeys, talked about our goals. Let's talk about business.
Business stuff.
Talk about running a business.
These are the things that we get so excited about.
Yeah,
we talk about
me
it
too.
all the time.
That's like, I feel like any like maker channels or like anyone who's trying to turn this into a business, as soon as we get together, we're like, so what do you do? What do you do about merch? Like, what do you do?
Which is what we've been talking about for 3 days.
Yeah.
Last 3 days. So something I think that's pretty consistent among most people who are YouTubers, right?
Mm-hmm.
Who aren't the megastars, right? The Casey Neistats, the I can't think of any other ones, but you know what I mean, like 10 million subscribers.
Yeah.
Is that YouTube is a very important piece
Yes.
of the business plan. It's not the only part of
And
the
it's
business plan.
usually the smallest in terms of money.
Right. But it's generally the biggest in terms of like marketing
Yep.
and like awareness of your brand
Yeah.
and all
It
that.
allows everything else to happen,
Yeah.
but monetarily it's a tiny
It's the primary platform upon which we publish content.
It's also something that's hard to count on in terms of your income because it's not under your control. They can change the rules,
Yeah.
and, about AdSense and this and that, and it's not the most reliable
Right. By itself.
By itself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So one of the many things, and I hope that when our Prop Tarts are watching other YouTube videos, they start to recognize, especially anyone looking to turn what they do into a business, start to recognize the things that other YouTube people are doing to augment their income or to make the as your YouTube channel grows, your brand becomes more valuable in a lot of different ways, and there's ways to cash in on that value. So, for example, you can have products.
Mm-hmm.
We have books. Very soon, we will have shirts.
Nice.
But you guys already have shirts.
We do have shirts.
What's the website for that?
ShopEvanandCaitlin.com. Jinx.
That was a pretty easy thing to say at the same time.
There we go. So, which I think is a great, like, merch like that is a great way to be like, hey, do you like what we do? And you think maybe these shirts are, kind of cool. It's a great way to, you get a cool thing out of it. You get to show that you like the brand.
Yeah.
And then you guys get money out of it, which is a really cool deal.
Yeah, it's kind of a win-win-win. People need shirts.
I like this one a lot.
Yeah, that's my favorite.
Yeah.
That's really, really cool. So, products are a really great way to do it.
Yeah.
We have our books. One of the things we've been brainstorming a lot about is digital products.
Mm-hmm.
So
The best.
when we kicked off our not the business, but once as it evolved, alongside the props that I was selling, I was like, ooh, I wrote an ebook.
Mm-hmm.
So I made a digital book, and people can buy it, and it's like $5, and then it just gets emailed to them. I don't have to mail anything. Like, as a starter thing, digital products are awesome because there's very little overhead.
Yeah, and digital products are so great because you put so much time and effort and thought and research into it, but then it scales infinitely past them.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
Yeah.
And every time you sell it, you provide high value to the people you're selling it to without as much of a burden on you repeatedly.
Yeah.
For us, that evolved into the print book. In fact, when Brittany quit her job 3 years ago now,
Wow.
the first thing she did was take our Foamsmith books and make a print book out of it, which is here. In case anyone watching hasn't heard my pitch yet, Foamsmith and Foamsmith 2 available at punchprops.com. These are the proofs.
Very
Oh,
nice.
the fancy ones?
Proof. This is proof that it's a proof. I'm sorry.
Very official. Very official.
And for us, the print books have been awesome because not only do people buy it for themselves, but they buy it for other people. It's a great gift.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's way more.
You can't really
like,
give someone a PDF, so.
you can, but it's less satisfying.
Yeah, it's not as satisfying. It's hard to wrap.
Yeah.
Put it all out.
Just put it on like a flash drive and wrap the flash drive.
You know what? You say that, but having a flash drive with some digital products and maybe your most viewed videos or a series of videos that's with flash drive that's branded, which you can do actually. There are companies that you can send them your files, you can send them your logo, and they'll send you 500 flash drives with everything all set up. Yeah.
So you could have your books, the videos that match with them, and a couple free templates.
Like a modern
embedded
day
in
gift
there.
basket, but
Yeah.
all on a little flash drive.
Everett's watching and listening, so Everett, for the holidays this year, we should do that.
Mini business meeting inside.
Yep. Actually, shameless plugs coming in. We just added some products to our store that we're excited about. We have stickers. We have sticker packs. We have little characters. Mostly stickers. We added stickers.
We got stickers and books.
Yeah, which is pretty awesome. And there will be more stuff added to our store soon. But if you're into stickers, then those are up there right now. punishprops.com/shop. There you go. Redbird Props plugging the mega pack of stickers right in there.
Yeah, if you're gonna get stickers, you might as well get the mega pack.
Might as well get all of them. Evan and Katelyn have some of the stickers.
We do.
We do.
They look
Do
really
they get
nice.
the thumbs up?
They do.
Yay!
They're on. We got the magnets. We got the upgraded.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
I don't think we have any more of the magnets. We make more fridge magnets. If you guys think you want a fridge magnet of cute little characters of us, you let us know. So yeah, products. Products are awesome. The other thing, the one we've actually been talking a lot about behind the scenes is sponsors. When you have an audience, companies and brands will want access to that audience by way of sponsoring a video, which is you guys do a lot of.
I think we've done probably over 20.
I'm not sure exactly, but it's our main source of income right now. We do almost every video since we started really hitting this 100% has been sponsored.
And it's been great. We put a lot of effort into finding the right sponsors. So a lot of people have been told to avoid reaching out to sponsors, and we are kind of proponents of it. Find the brands that you already like, that you already use, and reach out to them and help them reach a broader audience.
Yeah, and it feels more organic too. Instead of being like, hey everybody, I think World of Vikings is great. For me to show a game I never played.
Vikings reaches out and you're like,
well.
But you know what I mean?
It's less organic.
Right. Yeah. Whereas when we did a sponsored series with Bethesda to plug Skyrim HD, that was a slam dunk. They actually reached out to us and they were like, hey, do you want to maybe get some videos sponsored? And we're like, but I don't know, twist my arm. A reason to build more stuff from Skyrim.
Yeah.
So
and I think with sponsors, for us, our strategy was to start working with them at the beginning of our channel so that if we made any mistakes, it wouldn't have as big of an impact.
Yeah, we could kind of go through the ropes and learn things.
That's
when
good.
We're still a small channel.
On both ends, so we don't get taken advantage of by the companies, and so we don't present them in the wrong manner to our or to our audience and upset anyone over there. So we just wanted to start it early, get all the lessons learned right at the beginning.
That's good.
So then as we keep on growing, we can take those lessons learned and apply them to the future.
And teach them to your friends.
And teach them to our friends.
Yes.
Which is fantastic. So of your videos that you've done that have been sponsored, do you have one where you feel like you really kind of nailed the integration? It just kind of worked well?
The one...
I mean, there's a lot of... Go to recent. There's a lot of...
I think it's backwards now.
I'll just refresh the page. Let's start again.
Yeah. We do a couple different kinds of sponsorships. So sometimes it's where we actually have a talking point, where we talk for 20, 30 seconds about the sponsor. Then we have others where it's just a product placement. So we just use their product and make sure to show it and, include their links and stuff.
So the Ripple Bench is a good video where we use a product and it's talking points too. And we just basically show how to use this power carving.
Yeah.
This is Arbortech.
Yeah. So it was something we really wanted to play with the tool. It was something we've been wanting to do for a long time. We had the idea for this kind of cool texture we wanted to do, so we reached out to them. They were down to sponsor us, and then we got to just use the tool and give some tips on how to use it, and that was the sponsorship. And so it was a really nice
Slow-mo.
integration.
Slow-mo.
Yeah.
You gotta go slow-mo. But the crazy thing is, even though it was like 40 times slow motion, it was still moving incredibly fast.
I know.
It was crazy. It's kind of a crazy tool.
That's really cool.
But yeah, I mean, even like hearing us talk about it right now, it's like I'm getting excited about using that again because I think it's a really cool tool. So I think finding sponsors that you really are passionate about, that like you would tell your friends like, oh hey, you have to try this, this is super cool, it's going to come off a lot more naturally and be a really good integration.
Yeah.
It's slightly more challenging when your sponsor is something that like isn't directly related to what you're doing. So we did a Skillshare sponsorship recently for our knife box video, where that's a little different because it's not a tool or or a finish or a material, but we still tried to really tie it in. With that example, we designed the things that we made in Fusion, and Skillshare has Fusion tutorials, and so we used it like as a recommendation, like, hey, if this is something you want to learn how to do, here's a great resource, and then it still tied it in. So.
And it fits with our audience. Our audience wants to learn, wants to grow, wants to keep on pushing themselves, and it seems like it fits.
Yeah, I think that. We get emailed. Tell me if this happens to you. We'll get emails from people who it feels like they just email lots of YouTube channels, and they hope that people bite, and they're really just unappealing value propositions.
Dear YouTuber, I love your channel.
Right. But sometimes I'll get a thing, and it's someone who's genuinely interested, but it just really feels like it would be a stretch to incorporate it into a video. But I think that's just a hump you have to get over, and you can, in most cases, figure out a really good way to basically make that sponsor the hero of that video.
Yeah.
It doesn't necessarily mean it has to be like for us, the slam dunk would be like with Skyrim.
Yeah.
Hello, we have a new Skyrim game. To promote it, we would like you to build something from that Skyrim game. I'm like, piece of cake.
I'd love to.
Right. But they're not always going to be that easy. It doesn't mean that they should all be no's if it doesn't perfectly fit this template you have in your head.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of an interesting challenge to try to figure out how to make it fit and still be relevant,
So one thing that was, we had to push ourselves a little bit more. We were doing an integration with Webhost. And we had been hosting with them for the past 8 years.
Oh, yeah.
We actually reached out to them to sponsor us.
Yeah, so I know that a lot of web hosts, we knew that a lot of web hosts sponsor videos. We reached out to the people that we've been working with. We say, hey, we can tell the story.
Yeah.
And we told the story about how we've been hosting with them for 8 years and how we started our blog there and all of that. And that story.
We have all these tutorials on our blog that are similar to the stuff we're doing on YouTube. So it's like, oh, I want to see the stuff old, or I guess young Evan Katelyn on their projects with terrible photos.
Yeah. It takes a little bit more effort.
At evankatelyn.com.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Deep to find the bad stuff.
You guys keep going on.
Oh no. Yeah. But it's kind of a challenge, but it's also like a puzzle where you have to piece these things together, and it's really satisfying when you get them right.
Yeah.
Will this go all the way back if I just keep pushing this button?
I don't know.
I don't know. We refreshed our website, and it's looking like it might.
Yay!
Oh no.
Oh no, there it goes.
It does go back.
Old stuff.
I think that's it.
Oh, okay, yeah. We started it back in like 2013, so we did it to like fix up our house. That was actually, the same way that you started the channel, and just kind of putting stuff out there to see. That's kind of what we did with the blog. So we did a lot of testing and just, sharing stuff because we thought maybe someone out there would want to see it, but it wasn't serious really. That's kind of what the blog was.
Yeah. Awesome. The other thing I wanted to talk about for YouTube is talk about community or communities. Yeah. Both what I would say is the communities that you're a part of, and then the communities that you've developed, if you have. So for us, like, we got our start in some podcasting communities, and but really in the prop and costume community, or the cosplay community in general, which is where we generally live.
Yeah.
But then as we built our channel and our brand and everything, we have our friends in the Prop Tarts, who, by the way, named themselves, started their own group, made their own mods, made their own private group for the mods. Like the prop darts are a fully self-contained thing. They're also doing their own Secret Santa, and they have their act together so hard that I believe entry for the Secret Santa closed today.
What?
For this holiday season. What? And I will be taking part as well. I think Paige is too, right? You're going to do it? You sign up? Good. Awesome.
That's awesome.
That's so cool.
Which is crazy cool.
And I can't even imagine the presents that are going to be sent back and forth in such a creative
It's
community.
going to be awesome.
Yeah.
But for you guys, like, which communities do you mostly like interact with?
Well, we're kind of generalists. You know, we'll do like a 3D printing project one day, and then a woodworking project, and then a metalworking project. So, we haven't necessarily like rooted ourselves in a specific community, but it's really fun having like a little bit of ourselves in a bunch of different communities.
Your hands in a lot of cookie jars.
And hopefully it'll expose the communities to each other too, where we can use Warbler with woodworking and use foam with metalworking. I'm not sure. That's not a good combination.
We can make it work.
Yeah.
Totally can. Although I need to go to... you ever go to this website? This to that.
Yeah, all the glues and everything.
Foam. They only have styrofoam and metal. What sort of glue would I use for that?
JB Weld.
JB Weld.
JB Weld or hot glue.
Just hot glue everything together.
Where I first heard of you guys would be in the more general maker community, like Maker Faire type of thing. So like Bob from I Like to Make Stuff, Jimmy DeResta, David Picciuto, those guys in that, because that community is really developed.
Yeah.
And I really only got a good taste of it the first time I went to Maker Faire, which was 3 years ago. A little while ago.
It's a great experience.
It was amazing, and I feel like it's almost like a secret from the cosplay community.
Really?
That's
like,
so interesting.
So this last year, when we met you guys for the first time, also Jackie was there. Jackie Kraft, you guys know Jackie, and Steve Miser of Solo Roboto and his wife Kit were there. And there are other people there who cosplay, but the people that I know in the cosplay community, that's it. Just a handful of us.
Yeah.
And there are people who wear costumes, but like Jackie had a full-on like
it was awesome.
And it was kind of cool to like be one of the only like well, I wasn't in costume, but for her to be like one of the only serious cosplay around, you get a lot of attention.
Yeah.
We were talking with Make, I think not at this last Maker Faire, but the one before, and they want to try to pull the cosplay community in.
Yeah.
They're going to really try to make a push.
There's a lot of overlap. It makes sense.
So much overlap.
Everyone, you know, both communities are creative, they're making things. It would be really cool to kind of join these communities and join forces a bit more.
I think there's a lot of that people can give and take away from that interaction too. So as a cosplayer going to Maker Faire, you start to learn. Like there was a booth there that had linear actuators. I think it was called Maker Muscle, and they're showing off that this thing is a really cool linear actuator. But in my head, I'm like, oh my gosh, so it's like wings. I could do so many cool things for cosplay where that's a thing. And it hasn't really been adopted by the cosplay scene yet. But you go to Maker Faire and you're like, that thing, it would solve so many of my problems. Maker Faire also has, woodworking, which can be used in cosplay, metalworking, CNC, 3D printing, all the really great techniques that could be adopted for costumes, obviously.
Yeah. And when we first started off, we knew that we kind of needed to find a little bit of a niche that we could be part of to engage with and find our community, which is why we kind of went with the maker community. And we were definitely a broad niche, but we were definitely inspired by Bob and his approach to taking on all different types of projects and setting the expectation that every week you might be getting something completely different. And we definitely want to get into cosplay more and throw that in as one of the things.
Speaking of, I think this is the first video I saw from you guys, but you did a Wonder Woman headpiece.
Yeah.
And of course, the rest of the costume is forthcoming.
Yes.
Coming up. We're working on the bracers right now.
Awesome.
Fight!
So there's some stuff we're going to work on the next day or two that would help that project.
Yeah, I feel like I'm absorbing a lot of information.
Yeah. But that's cool. Like, every once in a while, you might do a costume project.
Yeah,
or every
exactly.
once in a while, you might do a prop project.
Yep.
I'll be honest. I'm kind of jealous of that. Every once in a while, I do. Like, especially, we were watching woodworking videos last night.
Yeah.
And when you wipe finish on wood and it looks magical,
like,
I want
done.
that. But I mean, you don't get the same satisfaction with foam. I tried rubbing Danish oil on foam. It doesn't work.
The paint and the weathering doesn't magically appear in one
the
swipe.
weathering is really cool, but it doesn't. It's not that like it's done.
Yeah.
So yeah, prop and costume makers. If you're watching, if you have a Maker Faire or a mini Maker Faire near you, I highly recommend you go check it out. And also, like, if you're looking around on YouTube for tutorials, maybe branch outside of ones that are cosplay or prop specific and target specific techniques.
Yeah.
That's how I found channels like Winston, who we were hanging out at Maker Faire.
CNC.
He does a lot of CNC stuff. What other? A lot of woodworking, metalworking. There's a lot of woodworking techniques and tools, like specific jigs and weird tools that are so handy for prop making.
Yeah.
You were cutting rabbits in a piece yesterday, which is like a woodworking thing.
Yep.
You know, there's a lot that can be applied.
Yeah, so definitely branch out. Pretty soon you'll be on like a machining kick, and you're like, I have to go watch all the Click Springs videos because they're gorgeous.
Because they're wonderful.
Yeah. We love our communities.
Well, without them, we'd just be like weird people sitting in our shops talking to cameras. Just like, hi, me.
Quick reminder, folks, in the chat, if you have a question for us as we ramble through this, just tag @PunishProps in the chat. I'll see it and we'll answer it. All right, let's go. We had a fun idea. We're gonna go over if we were doing what we're doing now from the beginning, what would we do differently?
I think that we'd have more things in place, and that would just be to make our lives easier. We would have, and this isn't honestly that reasonable to do, but have your website fully set up, your merch set up, have everything in place so from the beginning you can be consistent all the way through. But I think that I don't know, I wouldn't change too much.
I feel like you guys emerged from the womb almost fully formed.
Start 5 years earlier?
Yes, start earlier. That's 100% something we would have done.
Yeah. I would say most of the things that I've done that I would consider a risk were at the time, like moving into this shop space was a massive risk.
Yeah.
It's a lot more expensive than my previous arrangement, but I should have done it a year ago.
Yeah.
Like now that I'm here, I'm like, why did I wait?
I think
like these guys have my back. We'll find a way to make this work.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's like a consistent thing. Wishing that like changes, especially the risky ones that have a big payoff, were made earlier. Like we just for our most recent video we put out got some editing help for it. And we're like, wow, this is awesome. And of course there's like, you know, things you have to learn, growing pains of like trying to communicate what you want to someone else, and like the anxiety. Well, I had a lot of anxiety.
Giving up creative control is tough.
But it's tough. But it's like, man, I wish that we had gone through this 6 months ago.
Yeah.
Not that we could have realistically, like, I mean, I guess we could have made it work, you know, financially, but or you know, quitting our jobs earlier and things like that. It would always be nice to just have made those jumps sooner.
In the moment, it seems like such a big risk, but then it works out, and you're like, that wasn't bad.
That wasn't so bad at all.
Yeah.
We definitely wish I had taken some of those jumps a little bit sooner. It's so weird to think, like, from my point of view, we've been doing this a long time. It's felt like a very, very slow change over a long period of time. I don't know if that's, you guys have really been only waist deep in this for a year or so. But after 6 years of doing this full time, like in my head, I'm like, oh, I totally could have done it sooner because it felt like it's gone so long. Yeah. But then when I think about, well, where was I 6 months ago? I was like, I didn't have this. Like, when I look at it on a certain time scale, it feels like I'm on a crazy train that's just running off the rails, and I can only barely control it.
Yeah. It's a balance. It's a balance.
We're gonna pause on that for a moment and grab some questions from the chat.
Where would you find good editing help? We were really lucky. One of our friends who lives near us he runs a YouTube channel also, and he had some spare bandwidth. So that's where we found ours, and because we were stressing about it too. So
I think
finding
a good starting point, I think, is look to other people in the community, especially if you know someone who has an editor. Say like, hey, does your editor have extra bandwidth, or does your editor have any editing friends? Just to kind of give you like a jumping off point.
yeah.
I think that would be that might be a better place to start than just like
Google.
A Craigslist ad, especially because editing for YouTube is a lot different than editing, for like the corporation.
And one tip we could give for editing, especially when you're working with a new editor, have them edit a small chunk and send it to you to get feedback on the style and all of that. Don't let them finish the entire video and then say, well, that was not what I wanted.
You've wasted your time and ours.
Yes.
I will say when it comes to you just bringing on additional help too, like we always just look to our community and our immediate friend group.
Yeah.
So we've done in the past. I've hired friends to help like with molding and casting stuff. We did a Kickstarter a few years ago, and we just hired friends who I'm like, can you mix resin into a cup and pour it into a mold? Yeah.
Yep.
Awesome. You're hired.
Yep.
But they were the biggest factor there was like, is this someone I could have in the shop for 8 hours a day and not want to strangle one another?
Yeah.
And so that's why I went to like my friend group to hire people on.
Yeah.
And then more recently, like we hired our buddy Everett, and we've been friends for almost 10 years now.
Yeah.
And I knew like he would be a perfect fit.
Yep.
And then I met Paige through doing convention stuff. And she was also close enough to Seattle. So yay!
Yay!
So yeah, we just look to the community.
Yeah.
Like you were saying, to get help.
Yeah, because skills you can teach, but you can't change someone's personality.
Yeah. Much as I try. This is unrelated, but Dalek Weeks wants to know about an inexpensive 3D printer. I usually just send people to the Prusa or the CR10. But if I was buying one right now, I'd probably buy the Prusa Mark III.
Yeah. I've heard a lot of good things about it, but we just don't have any inexpensive 3D printers. So
neither do we.
It's a hard question to answer. For us, at least, when we were first starting this, we didn't know if we were going to do it with YouTube or if we were going to make products. And we were initially selling products before we did YouTube. And we wanted something that was reliable and would keep on going. And our time was more valuable to us than the single cost of a printer. So,
yep.
Yeah.
We also kind of did the math and figured we could make it pay for itself after a certain amount of products. And we're like, yeah, we can make that. So
Yeah. And it did. It paid for itself real quick.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I do know a lot of people in the Prop Tarts, like the CR10. It seems like a good compromise for size, price, and quality. In fact, if you have more questions about that, you could go to the Prop Tarts group on Facebook and ask, and people will be really helpful to share their experiences. Let's see here. Corian9 had a question. He sees that you had a Corian tutorial.
Yeah.
He wanted to know more. He says it's okay to laser it. That's cool. Corian is like a thermoplastic.
We
right?
love Corian. It's workable just like wood, but it finishes incredibly smooth. You can get it to like a mirror shine.
It feels like stone. It's kind of cold like a stone.
And you can thermoform it.
And it's food safe, so we did like the Corian salad claws, and we've made like a cheese board out of it. But yeah,
it's really cool stuff.
So cool. Yeah, we want to do some.
We haven't lasered it yet.
We need a laser.
Yeah.
Soon.
Lasers are awesome.
I think that's one of the last thing is big tools we need in our shop.
Very good. All right, let's move on. We want to talk about traveling and events and collaborations,
which we have both done a lot of.
Yes. I think one of the things that helped us, especially early on, is our willingness to travel.
Yeah.
Especially go to events where I know I'm going to see other people, not just like other cosplayers, because you can go to Comic-Con and just meet lots of cosplayers, but other people who are both makers and professionals at making content like we are. Like we saw a lot of not just makers, but content creators at Maker Faire.
Yeah. And I think a lot of those conversations that happen in between events and around meals and in the hallways between events, and that's where so much learning happens and bonding happens, you know? So just like being in the same area really helps.
We kind of went into this past year with a similar mindset of like, we're just going to say yes to everything possible. We're going to go to as many events as we can. We're going to do as many collaborations with awesome people as we can. Because just that in-person interaction, you learn so much.
Yeah. And then traveling to one event will beget travel to other things.
Yeah.
So, like, once we met and got to know one another at Maker Faire, you guys were like, well, we're thinking about coming up to Seattle. And we were like, we got a spare room. We got a new shop. Joel said he's bringing chips. And you guys are like,
there will be chips.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It was great.
We did a lot of the traveling we did. Dragon Con was the big one for us. We met so many people who are now very close friends of ours who travel there from around the world because it's an awesome party, just costume party.
They noticed you and said hi.
Yeah, chat says hi.
Hi, Pop-Tarts!
What were the other big ones for us? We did San Diego Comic-Con a couple times. That's where I first met Norm and Will from Tested a few years ago. There's so much about having that in-person interaction with people where you're like, oh, you're flesh and blood. That's amazing. You're not just a name on a screen.
Yeah.
But people remember you, and you get to know who each other are, and then you're more likely to do work with each other down the road.
Yeah, because, like, in a way, you have a team here and you have coworkers here, but in another way, it's like we're like, almost like office mates. You know, it's like everyone who makes these YouTube videos chatting with each other. That's kind of the chatting around the water cooler. You know, you can talk about things that only you guys understand. Only like the content creators understand.
We can commiserate.
Yeah. It's interesting.
What we found too is, especially when it was just me and Britt filming in our basement before we moved out here and before we hired people, like we felt very isolated.
Yeah.
No one else that we know personally does. Only a few people we know personally in the area do YouTube.
Yeah.
And we're all busy making YouTube videos.
Yeah.
Right? So it's like we don't really have colleagues nearby.
Exactly.
So when we do get nearby at an event, that's when all the commiserating happens and
That's
all
exactly
the ideas happen.
That's exactly what I was trying to say, but in better words.
Well, I don't know if you know this, but I'm a professional at writing words.
Oh.
Because I have a
professional word writer?
A wordsmith.
A wordsmith for the Foamsmith.
Now, you guys have done quite a few really cool collaborations in the past. You want to just go through a short list?
Yeah, so...
some cool stuff you've done? I'll try and find videos.
The first collaboration we did was with William Osman, and that was a huge push outside of... Well, one, it was amazing. It was so fun. Such an awesome person. And we pushed ourselves way outside of our comfort zone in terms of planning and embracing spontaneity and just going with the best thing part about this is the audio and cats.
Yeah, we made a cat toy. But so
the catawhack.
That's great.
But we really push ourselves to not plan as much and be in the moment and take our audience along with us.
Yeah.
And then the next one
was at Johnny.
Yeah.
Yeah, Crafted Workshop, great woodworking channel. Johnny is super awesome. That was really fun. We got to play with a bunch of amazing tools. Might say, I can show you if you just go to videos.
Yeah. We're trying to pull it up. It's the slab right there. Oh, it's so pretty.
Yeah, this is like the prettiest piece of furniture we've ever built with much help from Johnny.
We just picked up so much woodworking skills for on the one practical side, and chatting with him about how he runs his business was super enlightening, and it really made us step up our game with working with sponsors and everything. That's
and you guys to cap it off, recently did a video with Alec Steele, which is awesome.
So fun.
And it sounds like the conversations you guys basically had off camera were very enlightening. Because what we found is that even from the surface, it looks like we all just make YouTube videos, which we do. But on the backside of it, the way we actually like make money from it is drastically different.
So different.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And when you learn that about someone else's business plan, you can pick the parts that make sense for you and incorporate them into your plan.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
everyone gets better for it.
Yeah, we came back so pumped we could like barely sleep.
Yeah, Alec has like a crazy business sense, especially, I mean, having conversations with him, that's what makes us think like, man, we should have started this so long ago.
Yeah.
He's 20 years old and like already has this crazy business.
And he has this awesome vision too. He really knows where he's
Mm-hmm.
going
Yeah.
at the same time, you know?
You know
So
what though? That took us a long time to figure out. I
Mm-hmm.
think it took us like 3 years to really understand what our mission statement was going to be, what I
Yeah.
want. And then once I had a pretty good idea for that, my ambition grew 10 times. And we've talked offline about where like our grand plan is and everything. And,
Yeah.
And part of that came from me like visiting Tested and working with them and seeing where they are and seeing that and being like, I'm not so far off.
Yeah.
Like what they're doing, I mean, they have a Mythbuster on their team.
Yeah.
Helps.
We don't have a Mythbuster yet.
Yes.
But like what they do and what we do isn't so different. So I was like, well, I need to set some more ambitious goals then.
Yeah.
Which I imagine you probably felt this something similar, like visiting a shop like Alex.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, we were like, we only do videos once a week. We are slacking.
This is an interesting question. Campbell Cosplay says, when you started your business, how did you come up with the amount of money you would need to invest? Every penny I had. I didn't know how much I would need. Just whatever I had got dumped back into the business. And when I got started too, the calling what I had a plan is a generous word. I didn't have a very good plan going into it, and I, for like 2 years, beat my head against the wall figuring it out.
Yeah.
I know I have a pretty good idea now, but I'm the kind of person who just dives in and figures it out as I go.
And we eased into it very carefully. We knew it was something we wanted to do, and we started our channel when we were both working full time, but we gradually decreased the amount of hours we were doing full time work until we had done YouTube for long enough that we could kind of like, we had a little bit of a trajectory, and we could guess like, okay, we'll be at about this size after about this many months or years, and after, we talked to so many of our YouTube friends that we could kind of get an idea of like about how much money we would be making if we used like this type of monetization or sponsors or this or that.
So we had it all mapped out, and we also, we had paid off all of our debts, and we had some money saved up. So even though it was a little bit nerve-wracking, we were like, this is going to be fine. And worst case scenario, we can always go back and get day jobs.
Yeah.
It's...
You know what? And even though I didn't have any of that planned, I still had a skill set. I was like, if I could bartend if I have to. Like, I could go back to bartending if I haven't had to. But I totally could.
Yeah.
If I needed to.
For us...
But personally, I go into projects with no plan B. Because like if there's a plan B, I'll be like, it's fine, I'll just do the lamer thing. It's like no plan B, I'm just pushing forward.
We probably should have done that more. Looking back on it.
Well, I will say though, but I also feel like that everything kind of took longer for me because I didn't have a plan.
For us, the thing that freaked us out a lot more than failing at YouTube is not doing YouTube at all and looking back and wondering what could have been and having that regret in our lives. And we would have regretted not trying way more than trying and failing.
Yeah.
So that was the number one impetus behind us just going for it.
That's what it always came back to.
That's good. No regrets. The last thing we're going to chat about, what's next for you guys? Both like maybe project-wise, but also like what's your next goal, your next milestone? What's the next big thing? Like, for example, 100,000 subscribers, which you guys are rapidly approaching.
Ooh,
Gonna
so
hit it.
close, so
We
close.
have a video planned for that.
Yeah,
We're going to bust out the propane cannon again.
Yes.
Blow things up.
Yeah, we're
Yes.
gonna make it even better.
Even better.
That's one of the upcoming projects that we're super excited about. I think like on a more long-term scale, like I mentioned, we just started working with an editor. It's on a part-time basis right now, so it's not going to be every video. But I think getting comfortable with, having someone else help us is a big goal for the next year. Because we recognize that if we do want to keep growing this, it can't be just us two. I'm sure it's a similar experience for you guys. And it's kind of a hard hump to get over, and we're just at the very beginning of it. But I think that's a big one for us. Yeah.
And in terms of where our channel is going to go, we're probably going to keep on bouncing around from different types of content. The main thing we want to add in is we're going to start welding soon.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we're going to have more cosplay.
Yeah, more welding and more like prop/cosplay.
And
a
then
couple
some more house upgrades.
Yeah, and some more like home renovations.
Which is great because then you can write those off on your taxes.
Yeah.
Boom.
And then it's like our job is upgrading our own life.
Yeah.
For that week, we're gonna totally redo our laundry room, and every time we're in there, following that, it's gonna be the upgrade that we'll get a benefit from.
Right.
So
Yeah.
it's wonderful.
And like 20 years from now, you can go back and watch that video. Like, oh, you remember we did that?
Yeah.
We made a new cubby for our underwear or something. I
That's what
The
we're
underwear
doing.
cubby.
Underwear cubby.
don't know. You guys can
Spoiled
tell.
it.
I do home renovations all the time. You can tell. For us, I have to write another book. I have to finish writing another book. And then in the shop, we're going to build a set for filming all of our tutorials.
It's gonna be so cool.
Yeah, we have a big space for it, but we want to have consistent lighting. We want to have good sound. So yeah, building a proper set for filming everything in that big space will be the next thing. And of course, we will document that journey. You guys can come along while we work on it. We have let's see. Silent Warlock says, I like the computer desk mod that you make YouTube? I don't remember a computer desk mod.
We made a computer
that you
desk
guys
out
made.
of
Not me.
out of modular T-slot aluminum framing, which is
that's
one of my
right.
favorite materials. I love it.
Yeah.
And we can just move it around, and it's just so fun.
I remember that one.
So it's in the middle right there.
There we go. We'll end with this last thing. Oh, that's so cool.
It has casters, so you can roll it around. You can adjust the heights of everything.
All right, hold on. This is important. For our new set, I want to make more workbenches on wheels.
Yeah.
And I was gonna do like aluminum pole, like tubes.
Yeah.
With the things you can get to put those together.
Yeah.
Yep.
But I might make it out of that instead.
Oh, it's so sturdy.
Ah.
Yeah. We made the 3D printer cart. We literally rode around on it like
Yeah.
a chariot.
Both of us, yeah.
Both
Oh
of
my
us at the same
goodness.
time. And
It's
it was
awesome.
solid.
Well, you'll expect a phone call from me when I start putting them together. 'Cause
Yeah.
That sounds really cool. That is it for the podcast. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us and dropping questions in the chat. Thanks, Evan and Katelyn, for hanging out with us.
Thanks for having us.
today and this week.
Yeah, fun week.
We'll do another one of these in a couple weeks. We'll be live in the shop next week. I got a label maker, and we're gonna label and organize, and you guys, it's gonna be really fun.
Bill loves his label maker every day.
Look, I made this label. Let's see if you can see. Yeah, you can. Look at that. I made a label for my coffee. So we'll be in the shop live next week. Look forward to that. And that's it. That's all we've got for you guys today. Thanks so much again for hanging out, and we'll see you in the next one.
Bye.